a live stream experiment on YouTube with Uncle Herb, and basically what we're trying to do here is we're trying to gather more activity that could be associated with Uncle Herb.
Okay, do we have the spirit connected to this ventriloquist dummy here with us?
Ready.
About 1920 he was made. Dapper Dan is the manufacturer name for it. The story behind him is a young American man. He was quite keen to learn to become a ventriloquist. It was just becoming quite a big thing in the States at the time. Dapper Dan was one of the higher quality manufacturers of them, used by many of the professionals of the time. So the family chipped together and managed to buy him this doll so he could start to learn his future trade. Unfortunately died in an accident. There's a couple of versions, but it seems he was hit by a cart or a car. Probably a cart, bear in mind it's the 1920s, and he sadly died, so he never managed to fulfill his dreams. The doll was kept unknown to the family. The grandmother kept it in a cupboard. They remembered when they were growing up, they used to quite often hear noises from this cupboard and would ask their grandmother about it. They'd just be told, just ignore it, it's just the dummy. So they would just ignore it. They didn't know anymore until she passed away 4 or 5 years ago. At that point, the family member who inherited the whole estate, she was emptying out the house and she found the doll in this cupboard. So suddenly it clicked too hard that when her grandmother was saying it's just the dummy, she was actually meaning it's a dummy, because that's, it's a ventriloquist dummy. So they started to feel quite bad vibes about it. They remembered the knocking noises as they were growing up, and they just didn't feel comfortable around about the doll. So she had a friend who sold Native American artifacts, and she passed on to him to ask him if he would sell it for them. So he took it and he offered it up for sale. He started to experience quite a lot of activity in his house that he was quite uncomfortable with. He would hear noises, footsteps, banging on the walls and things like that from the storage area where he had the doll. So he listed him up for sale, but he was very clear that he was in California and nobody in California could buy this doll. It had to go as far away from him as possible. I'd contacted him and asked if Scotland was far enough away for him, and he jumped at the chance. We negotiated a price, and a telling thing for me with anything with an alleged haunting connected to it is price. I will offer a price based on it's a 100-year-old dummy. I don't add any value because of a story of a haunting connected to it. And he accepted the price, which was less than half of what he was actually asking for it. So that to me was a sign that he was genuinely wanting rid of it. Once he first arrived, people weren't that comfortable around about him. They felt quite uncomfortable holding him, sort of had more negative energy around about him. He's unhappy. It said the mouth of the doll falls open. Now the mechanism at the back doesn't work. You can't control the mouth anymore. And we have actually seen it happen, where the mouth opens and closes by itself. So it's something we know does happen with the doll. When we were doing an event at Govan at the shipyard, we used the Frank's box and we asked specifically, what is your name, for the spirit connected to the doll, and it came through Herbert. So we shortened that to Herb and Uncle Herb. It just felt right for the atmosphere around about the doll. It's completely changed. People feel very comfortable holding him. They feel drawn to him, specifically women. Gail was quite fascinated by him. She was almost reluctant to put him down or to give him to anybody else. It was that motherly sort of attribute towards the doll.
There does sometimes seem to be in the general public a misconception, especially when it comes to dolls or dummies or these kind of items, that it could be like a Chucky type scene where the actual, for example, we'll use Uncle Herb. Uncle Herb is, somehow got a spirit inside him and the spirit's making him do stuff and all this. That is not what is happening with these items. People can just think of when you have an alleged haunting or an attachment of a spirit to a house or a place of some sort. They're just connected to the place and they go wherever they want around that place. We're talking an attachment to an item, and in this case it's uncoherent. It's an attachment to him, not a spirit within him.
It can't be possessed. It's never lived. So you can't possess something that's inanimate. Most hauntings connected to buildings are either a sudden, unexpected, and sometimes violent death, or spirits simply returning to a place that they have a deep connection with through their life. It's exactly the same with haunted items. We hear multiple times about people inheriting things like a watch from their father, and when they wear it, they feel close to him or they experience things. It's exactly the same thing with dolls and things like that. For most people, when they're growing up, they have a doll, a teddy bear or something like that they have as a child. It's their go-to for comforting. They tell all their secrets to it and all the rest of it. They have this deep connection with the item. So if they pass away, it's quite possible that they come back to revisit that item. Rather than a location, they're coming back to revisit the item that they had this strong connection with.